Hello, I'm Donna Nissani, and from November 2002 to March of 2003, my husband Moti and I resided in 3 logging camps in the country of Myanmar, or Burma. We were living with, loving, and studying elephants. But before leaving the U.S., we spent several months socializing and experimenting with Wanda and Winky, the 2 Asian elephants at the Detroit Zoo. The video clips you are about to see capture some of our experiences and the experiments with these elephants. In particular, the first part of this film highlights the beauty, daily lives, contributions to sustainable logging, and behavior of elephants. The second part describes experiments on their vision, short-term memory, problem-solving abilities, and cognition.
Here we are seeing the Uzis making soap from bark that they are now going to use to bathe the elephant. Okay, we have here a series of 12 elephants coming in the water. Many of them are our elephants. It's December 27 and Sit and Yin, the baby, is in front. It's quite an impressive sight. They are wading in the river. We are now sitting on the bridge and the same procession of elephants is coming towards us. And you can see that there are 12 elephants, 12, 27, just a demonstration of our sake. See all these elephants, walking elephants, baggage elephants, sea camp
Okay, that's it for tonight, December 1st. Bye, sweetie. Note that working elephants always wear a wooden bell. Extremely dangerous or killer elephants, on the other hand, always wear an iron bell. Next, you'll see the making of an auspicious ring from the bristles taken from the end of an elephant's tail. Not shown in the film is the fancier gold-wrapped variation jewelers of Myanmar make. Soaking in some water, and then he takes one of them Anyway, so they weave for the hair. Into a ring. Most of the people we lived among were Buddhists, yet they enthusiastically celebrated Christmas with us.
Here we go. Here and here.
Oh, thank you very much.
Here is a typical scene, which more than made up for the malaria I contracted and for any other hardship.
Wait a second.
She wants something. Oh, now he's ready to come up the balcony. That may not be such a hot idea.
Yeah.
Okay, this is our house, and it's the same time. And I don't know if you could see Moti or not, but he's over here
Good boy. Good boy.
on the balcony
Good boy.
feeding.
Okay.
Side.
Donna, good boy.
Side.
Oh, look at him. You can get it to lie down.
Look at that. Oh, look at that!
Oh, he lets him. Very good. He lets him do it.
Well, he needed somebody to teach him a few things.
Side.
This one's the one that we refer to as the Pisher. And this is the one with the stepmother. She's 63 years old. She had a baby and it died. And Pisher's mama died. And soon before hers did. So her baby died, I guess, or after, or something like that. So they put the two together, and so she's raising him.
Okay. Cheers, away. Oh, he's coming up now.
He'd be real happy to go up the steps. Now here she goes down the walkway here. It's amazing she fits between there. There they go. Okay, now they're heading off. They were going to the creek. Thank you. They were going to the creek earlier, and we kind of stopped them, so here they go. How can you tell a happy elephant when you see one? Notice with Mama Lay, while they're switching, her trunk is going, her head is going, her ears are going, Her tail is going. If you watch her feet long enough, you see her back feet are always moving. She's so excited she can't even hold her feet still. She just loves to be here for some. I think she's just a happy elephant. She loves to be anywhere. Look at her hind feet here. How she's leaning in to do this. Her ears are going, her tail's going. They really like to do this a lot. Elephants relish dusting themselves. Here you'll see two examples of this. First, a 5-year-old, then a 7-year-old blind elephant.
Here's Chun Tin Tin, February 22nd, busily dusting herself.
Elephants are quick and extremely protective of their trunks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good.
To see just how strong elephants are, here is Site Yen, a 7-year-old elephant, winning a Christmas Day tug-of-war against 15 men. The following clips show that at least some elephants scratch themselves with a stick, which is an example of tool use. The third scratcher shown here is Shui Mia, the blind 7-year-old sweetie we saw earlier. Not shown are two other unconventional ways of scratching. First, both Moti and I saw 22-year-old Kain Mangji matter-of-factly scratching his belly with his erect penis. Second, Patty Rowe from the Detroit Zoo reports that upon failing to reach an itchy part of her back with a stick, Winky went over to a wall and, still holding her stick, curled her trunk, pushed its curled portion against the wall, and with this added leverage reached an otherwise inaccessible part of her body. There's a lovely example of tool use. He's using the piece of stick that he broke off to scratch himself with. I guess that's important.
Chan. February 22nd.
When frustrated, elephants sometimes thump the ground with their trunks. Do you watch her thump, Moti? Watch her thump.
The what?
Thump the ground. Do you watch her trunk thump?
Oh, she's angry?
No, she does that. A bigger, older male, Zau, is not sure whether he wants to share his food with a smaller, younger female, Shane Shui Pi. The two do not know each other well. On other occasions, we saw some close friends willingly and companionably sharing their food. It's February 25th. On the left we have Zau, and on the right we have Shane Shui Pi, also known as Shui Pi.
Okay.
Moti's going to give them a bucket of rice. This is for you, Wanda and Winky, so you'll learn how to do it right. And we want to show how these two elephants... oh! Did you see that? Mostly get along.
Here we are trying to show cooperation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this didn't work out as well as the two females that we had earlier. She seems intimidated.
And no one is taking it.
And now they're... God, that's so cute. Look at that.
Okay.
Detroit's older elephant, Winky, routinely retrieves objects by blowing on them. Similarly, according to Charles Darwin, after several failed attempts to reach a potato with her trunk, another zoo elephant retrieved a potato by blowing it against a wall.
This is my iguana.
For a very long time, Myanmar logged its teak forests with elephants, thus showing the rest of the world that forests can be logged on a sustainable basis. That proud tradition is now at risk. Nonetheless, Myanmar's forests are often managed in the traditional way, by cutting the logs selectively with hand saws and elephants, and then floating them downstream to the capital city of Rangoon. The following clips show some parts of this profitable and ecologically sustainable logging tradition. Note especially the intricate collaboration between the elephant handlers, loggers, or Uzis, and their charges. First, we'll see a few demonstrations kindly carried out especially for us. Comes closer. He's a huge elephant. All right, now he's going to move it right back where he took it from. This log must weigh, I don't know how much, a couple tons maybe. And he pushes it with his nose like it's just nothing for him. You can see the river in the background here. What? Latai? And he's 8'5" tall. He's 33 years old, and
He's a first-class elephant.
he's a first-class elephant. Can drag 3 tons.
3 tons.
And another thing that I've noticed since I've been standing here is that the handles are differently. The boy on the left, his handle, by the way, he's 15 years old. He's one of the youngest Uzis that we have. And his handle is going in a horizontal direction, and it's hard to see the other one. But the boy on the right, who's 21 years old, his handle goes in a vertical condition, so it makes it easier, or a vertical position, which makes it easier for him to pull the saw out. He's shaping it in the direction that the tree is going to fall. This again is another Uzi.
The sap came out.
Oh, the sap is spraying out on people. They're having fun with that.
Okay, I changed the angle now, came much closer, and we see how the incisor cut is being worked out. That's a direction they want the log to fall in, and he's doing very rapidly in about 5 minutes. The time now is 10:32. We have quite a bit of an incision. It's 10:35 and again we're doing it from a different angle now, and we might be able to see the river and the smoke in the background. The river is about 200 yards down from that tree where we are standing right now, and they're improving the incision. You can see the part of the saw still sticking from the other side, but they're not working on it anymore. It's 10.
Một câu này, nào thôi. Cái gì có ý nhiều. Ý hoàng gì.
Removing the tree from the top, then the elephant will roll it back down, and without a bark, there's much less friction. So we are removing the bark from the tree and tipping the top here.
Next, we'll see everyday logging, the way it really works, as well as construction of a temporary bridge, both at a remote camp in a jungle.
Okay, now we are doing the harnessing process, and this is the first step of the process. The next step is putting the saddle, or Utinlay calls it the quiche.
Quiche.
Okay, and you are tying the chains to it.
The rope is
elephant. Here's another elephant, it's a tusker, and we see now that they have a slightly safer saddle, constructed a little bit differently, and they're also putting the front part of the saddle, and then there is one that goes in the back, so you can see that the other elephant, see that the saddle is the slight piece of rope that the saddle holds, but to keep it balancing. And here now is the complete operation. A man on the saddle, the elephant is all saddled, freshly cleaned from a bath and ready to go to work. Again is making 2 holes that will be required in each log. There are 2 holes. And here we have 1 log. It's about 3/4 ton of ironwood. You can tell by the color. And he's just preparing the 2 holes, and then be connected and the chain. Now we're actually sculpturing to make it easier. I think this one is the youngest, and he has the biggest problems dragging. You can see that he's straining. And here is the first elephant. Stopping for a second. Obviously it's much easier to breathe in the water. But here we are coming out of the water. And let's see if there's any change. Tied to a second elephant, and here's the log, and it's very easy for them because this is only a demonstration thing, because the log is not all that heavy. And you can see here's the back view, 2 elephants. Okay, now this is the hardest part of the job here. With quite a steep incline, and you can see that the elephant is training quite a bit to do the job. At the same place,
Yeah.
now it's becoming a little bit harder. You can see the log, and there's a lot of, as you get out of the water, obviously it's becoming much harder to land it. They are tying them, and now this elephant, okay, that's a closer view. That elephant is going to drag it through. Okay, now they're beginning to drag, I think, log number 3. See, there's always, I think this is the assistant Singan or the Singan? Singan is directing the headman with the greater experience in this kind of operation, is in charge of the operation, and the other elephant is coming back now for, I think, the last log. As far as I can remember, we had 4. So one is dragging and one is carefully waiting for the operation to be complete. And so far so good, just slippery on the rocks. And now comes the big push, I think. But it's still not that difficult because it's partially in the water. Physics says it shouldn't be too difficult. This is an actual operation. They did not do it for our benefit. They modified a little bit. But basically that's the way it works. The only thing that did for our benefit was the tandem. They really didn't need 2 elephants. And you can see that the elephant is not too difficult. The log is partially still in the water. Okay, here's log number 4, I think. It's pretty easy. Let's get the elephant a bit closer. And the entire thing. Okay, that's a pretty strong elephant. I haven't seen to face her. I think she's a class 2 elephant. Okay, it's January 1st, 2003. And we see an operation. First of all, a man is cutting the tree by the felling method. The tree will go into the river, and the whole purpose of the operation here is see a road that just stops at the river, and they want to continue to the other side, so they are using elephants to drag logs, and you can see this elephant here pushing the log, and eventually they put lots of logs, and then the bulldozer is covering it with dirt, and that's how you get kind of a temporary bridge. And the tree we saw before is simply going to go to go into the water to add to the log that they need to construct the bridge. Okay, it's about half an hour later and they're still working. As you can see, it takes quite a bit of time to get that bridge going. And it's not, doesn't seem to be too difficult a job for the elephants, because they only have to drag the log in the water, which probably makes it so much lighter, and the logs are not that big. Again, we are constructing a temporary bridge. So the road can continue. This road here can continue on the other side. This one is pushing the log, which again can be done because it's in the water. Something that we use in combination of foot, leg, pushing the log towards. No problem.
A couple of days later, the laboriously constructed bridge, whose beginnings you have just seen, was washed away by unexpected hard winter rain. The elephant handlers you see in this film earn $6 a month and a sack of substandard rice. Their job is doubly dangerous. First, working with elephants day in and day out is risky. Second, the handlers, or Uzis, are loggers too, and logging is a hazardous occupation in and of itself. In the next 3 clips, you will see that trees and logs fall extremely fast, and that elephant handlers are subject to other hardships besides illiteracy, poverty, and malaria.
Mà câu này, nào thuê.
As part of the operation, we have uncovered biting ants. This one just bit me, and you can see that, and these poor guys now are sitting and cutting while the ants are eating them alive.
Unfortunately, one sees at times cruelty and indifference towards elephants and other animals, even among practicing Buddhists. Uzis once spent their entire lives with a single elephant, but now Uzis come and go. Moreover, just to eat enough, Uzis are often forced to overwork their elephants, on the side for private contractors. For example, of the 30-plus elephants we worked with in just 3 months, 2 teenaged elephants were compelled to drag heavy logs and consequently suffered possibly irreversible injuries. Note, for example, the swollen right shoulder of this young elephant. Here is a living example of unauthorized, destructive overwork of a sweet young elephant.
I think this one is the youngest, and he has the biggest problems dragging. You can see that he's straining. As you can see, it's very, very hard on the poor guy. And it really looks almost incredible that an animal that size can actually manage it. It almost looks impossible, actually. That's how big it is. And the poor thing is just an apprentice. One could say even there's an element of cruelty here. It's just too small.
At age 5, elephants undergo severe training, which some people believe breaks their spirit. Here to begin with are a few human interest aspects of our experiments. We often had a diverse and curious audience.
You in front. Okay, I have an audience here watching me. They've all been standing behind me watching me film. So I moved them over so I could take their pictures. Okay, come on.
Once we've got going, we would often carry out several experiments at one time.
Who is this right here? Sit Anyan, and she's waiting to do buckets.
Positive?
And then if we go around here to the curve, and we see
Like it positive? Oh, you have your notebook?
the Chime, and then over here we have being trained, another elephant. Otinla is training her. Past her, we have another elephant waiting. Behind there is Shufumang. He's waiting patiently. He's trying to sneak over here. And then if we look right past that over here, we have what looks like a herd of elephants that have all shown up for the sick camp. I just wanted to show how many elephants we're lucky to be around in one day.
Okay, let.
In our 3 months in the jungle, science and tradition happily coexisted. We observed and interacted with elephants everywhere. Here we see them walking near our experimental area, then visiting our bamboo home.
It's February 27th. Here's our crew coming back from their baths. We have the Pisher and Momo's mama and the Pisher's mama. And I'm not sure who the other one is. And they're walking past us here.
Every day, that's all.
Every day they go by.
That's Momo. And we just got through. And she's coming after me, I think. That's a regular visit. That's Momo. And we're actually starting experimenting with her, but gave up because it's almost impossible. Over there in the background is Ton Tin Tin, one of our regulars. They seem to be friends, and her mother. But okay.
That's Martha Shui and
Okay.
Momo's mama.
Momo is under 2.
Okay.
Now, the way we get rid of her when she comes for a visit is just chase her away. She is...
Sometimes caution seemed advisable. Note the machete in the foreground. We did, however, try to limit our contact with man-killing elephants. Elephants can quickly learn to obtain a morsel of food by pulling a rope. But can they figure out how to obtain food when it is tied to a retractable or bungee rope?
We're doing bungee for the very first time. We have a bungee cord attached to the rope, which is attached to the log. It's a safety rope so that the bungee can only be pulled so far without snapping. And then beyond, and that's this rope right here. And that's the bungee, and the bungee follows the green rope, which again is the safety rope. And then we get past the safety rope. See how the safety rope is longer than the bungee so that it can be pulled. And we get beyond that and we get to the white rope, which is the rope that Lataik uses to pull on. Somewhere there in the middle of the white rope, or at the end of the white rope, I should say, is the sugar cane that's attached to that. He's to pull the white rope far enough away to get, or closer to him to get the sugar cane. He not only has to pull it, but he has to hold it. Where'd I go? He has to hold it to, with his feet or his trunk or something, to understand that the sugar cane is there. Moti's holding up the sugar cane to show him that it's at the end of the rope, that all he has to do is pull on it. Here's the third time. We think he's probably got it figured out now. Okay, he's putting it in his mouth again. Okay, Donni, this is her first time with bungee. And we're watching to see how she does. This is December 21st. It's the first time the ropes talked back to her, so to speak. She's using her feet. And her mouth. Good girl. She's not hesitating at all, as you can see. It's on the other side of the bridge now. She did two times on one side, and now we're trying the other side. But she's got a system down. She pulls it, puts it in her mouth, pulls it, puts it in her mouth until she gets what she wants. And it just takes her seconds to figure it out.
Okay, help her now. Good, good.
Oh, she's winding it around her trunk. I've never seen that done before. Now she's got it all the way around her trunk. She's unwinding it from her trunk, and she's holding it with her foot. And she's going to pull it the rest of the way.
At first sight, this coordinated rope pulling action seems to involve insight. The elephants, it appears, figure out in their heads that they can only obtain treats by a coordinated, flexible, and versatile action of trunk and foot, trunk and mouth, trunk, mouth, and foot. They sometimes even wrap the rope around their trunk. However, the following footage raises the possibility that they do not rely on insight in solving this task, but on prior experiences or trial and error learning. Note as well how reluctant all of us are to entertain the notion that the elephant does not understand what's going on.
Patty, will she ever put her trunk over the third cable? What about the second cable? Do you understand, Moti? Did you hear that? She will not put her trunk over the third or second cable unless she's being defiant. It's not common practice for her.
gain some understanding of the elephant's sense of smell. In one investigation, we found out that an elephant can tell which end of a 3-meter long or 10-foot tube contains a bagel and which doesn't. By the second session, Winky chose the right tube in 9 out of 10 trials and Wanda in 20 out of 20. Moreover, in Wanda's case, at least we could be sure she only tightened her trunk around the tube when the bagel piece was at the far end of the tube, 3 meters away.
Okay. Okay, she sucked in the right place, and you can keep doing it just a couple more times.
What's the difference between a suck and a smell?
Yeah.
In a second set of experiments, we trained a blind elephant to come to Moti for treats from a variety of distances and from different wind directions. When she was 40 meters, or some 130 feet downwind from Moti, she was able to find him in 60% of the trials, suggesting again the elephant's reputation as a super sniffer is well deserved.
Okay, this is Shui Mia. It's February 17th, and she is totally blind in both eyes. She was born that way. And Moti was about 40 meters away from her, and the wind was with her to help her. She headed in a westerly direction, and no, so it's in the west. Easterly, I'm sorry. Easterly direction to get food from Moti. And she got it. She found him without a whole lot of trouble. I can't talk during this because when I do talk, she comes to me. Okay, that was about 2 meters away, and Moti was at a right angle to the wind direction. This is number 2 today, or 3.
Elephants have excellent long-term memories. But what about their short-term memories? Here we noticed great variations between one elephant and another. The short-term memory of 10-year-old Ang Chang Thar, our star performer, was indeed remarkable and outshone that of all the others.
Ang Chang Thar, who
We're
we
doing-
just saw a minute ago scratching himself.
Short-term memory.
And we're doing a short-term memory skill here. See how he does. Game. He
Pre-training
likes
one.
to play this. This is called pre-training 1, where the
Okay.
two people are sitting on the ground holding the buckets. And then we have our tosser right here who will toss the food to these two, and then he has to pick which bucket he's going to pick it out of.
Okay. B. Yeah.
It's a combination of seeing the sugar
Okay.
cane fly and hearing it hit the bucket.
Okay.
Okay, now we're moving to PT2.
PT2.
And
Yeah.
that's where they hold the bucket in the air and then set it down. So there's that little bit of delay there, a little
B.
break in the concentration. He is one of our
Okay.
star students here in this. He does a really fine job. Down,
Yeah.
down, down,
Nha.
down, down.
Okay, it's February 28th. And we're doing experiment 10 with Anchan Thar. It's his last session. So far he's performing very well. And you can start, Donna.
Yeah.
That means we are waiting 10 seconds before putting it down.
Down.
How many right so far?
That's 4 out of 4.
4 of Phil so far.
Back. Down.
That's 5 out of 5. And the records will show the rest. Just go a little bit.
Back. Down.
That's 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Down.
That is 6 out of 6.
Okay, yeah, this is Ang Chang Thar still. It's February 28th. It's February 28th still, and this is Ang Chang Thar still, and we're still doing this short-term memory thing. Moti gives him 3 pieces of sugar cane, as you can see, and he makes him raise his trunk. The next thing he's going to do is pound on the hammer 3 or 4 times or 5 times, and then will he tell the guys to put the thing down. Did he?
Finally got
He didn't get it? Okay.
That's negative.
We'll try it again.
One, negative.
All right. There's the 3 pieces of sugar cane, the third one raised. He got that one. All right, we'll film one more, see what 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 so far?
I don't know, I'm just saying we'll film 2 out of 3, whichever way it
I
goes.
think it's 1, 1 and 1. 1
Uh-huh.
out of 2. Okay. Yeah.
There's the cane.
Down.
You got it. Good boy.
That's good. So it's 2 out of 3.
All right, we'll have to show what the records say when we see him.
We were only able to bring his performance to chance level, 50-50, on the last afternoon of our stay in the jungle by replacing the hammer blows with loud hand claps close to his trunk. Up to age 30 or so, young working elephants can learn to preferentially select one object over another, and they do this faster than previously believed. When given a choice between a white and black objects, young elephants can learn to select either one, but they learn more rapidly to select a white object than a black one. An average of 84 trials for white, 307 for black. Surprisingly, beyond the age of 30 or so, elephants seem unable to learn simple discrimination tasks. We shall now first witness fragments of 2 consecutive pre-training sessions. The 2 sessions lasted about 2 hours and ended with complete mastery of the task.
10 of 5 on December 4th, and this is Momole, who's a very sweet elephant, very gentle and always in a good mood. Her tail's always going, her ears are always flapping. She's just a happy, happy elephant. And this is Ochao, and he is going to teach her slowly how to lift the lid so that she can do the bucket experiment. She's never done this before, so this is kind of a new thing for her to have to learn.
Okay, back. Right. No, no, no. Ready? Okay. Ready?
Okay.
Good. Good.
Now he's taken some tamarind. You can see the tamarind there on the side, and stuck it on the edge of the bucket there. I don't even think she knows it's there yet. But that's the dark stuff on there. There's a little tiny piece of tamarind that went in the bucket. Another tiny piece that went in the bucket. She's still busy playing with her salt in her trunk. That's the sound you hear. And there's the fluid from it. The saliva mixing up with the salt. Okay, that's good. She's getting that off now.
Hey, saute. 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 Watch me and you do the same. Watch me. Watch.
Oh.
Good. Good.
Okay, he's put the lid back on the bucket, and we'll see what she does. Oh, there's a little tiny piece of tamarind on the lid. You can see it right there by the...
Okay, back.
Now he's tapping on the side of it. Now, so her trunk hit it, and you see how she jumped? It's hard to believe that you have to do this much to get an elephant to touch a lid on a bucket. That it takes this much effort just to teach her simply not to be afraid of a lid. She's not afraid of the bucket, but to be afraid of the lid.
Good boy.
And unless she's different from 3 others that have been trained, she'll be throwing that lid around in no time. But the initial training is slow and requires a lot of patience. That a girl. Her trunk's in the bucket with the lid on it a little bit. That's a big step, believe it or not.
Left.
Whatever they're called in there, which is always good. They like those a lot. And they're not as salty as the tamarind, which they like too. Oh, did she just knock that off? Oh, good girl!
Okay, who else do we have?
Good, Momole. That only took about 30 minutes to do,
That's
to
finished
get
for him,
her
but he needs also this. So who
to
else
this
do we have?
point where she actually moved the
Time to
lid.
take him aside to it. Okay. Left.
She thought she was going to get it handed to her, and all of a sudden it went into the bottom of the pot. That's a girl! Into their own thoughts. I don't know what it is. It's the next day. It's December 5th. And it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is Momole and Rosie. And we've got Oh Chow Chow here. And we have 2 buckets, unlike yesterday where we only had 1. So today we're working on the premise that you need to use 2 buckets to get something. And we're going to teach her that. This should go a lot faster than yesterday after we get over being a little afraid, and it won't take long. There she goes. Oh, she opened the bucket, but she went to the other one. That's a typical thing that they do. Did that one just perfect. But she's still going to check the other one, which is something they'll continue to always do. Okay, it's got it down. I don't think we need to film it anymore. But she's just so cute. Look at her tail going. You can see her tail in the background. And her head's going, and her trunk is going, and her ears are moving. She's just very happy about this. This is something that once they learn, they love doing.
Third day, same elephant. Real discrimination task. White in her case is the correct choice.
Atta girl. Good girl. Oh, that was her first wrong time. Okay, this is Bit Henzie, December 12th. That was number 7. She's doing black-white lids. We have 2 lids here on the buckets, and white is good, black is not good. She doesn't get food if it's in the black one, so she has to pick the white one. And she has got this down to a science. She can do it very well, very quickly. We're on number, what number are we on now?
10.
We're on number 10 now. You can see how excited she is. She's leaning into it. She's leaning over it.
Switch sides.
The 2 gentlemen switch sides every 10
This was an
trials.
elephant that 3 days ago, 2 days ago,
Control left.
this is her 3rd day of even being introduced to these buckets and these lids. And she went from being afraid of it, literally afraid of the lid,
Side, right.
to being able to do this.
Another learning task which some young elephants can master involves discrimination between small and large objects.
February 23rd, 2003. This is Zau, and he's learning boxes. Big and small. He is just learning this. He's had a couple times practice, and he's doing pretty well today. The big box is the correct box, and he's been taught to take that's the one that the food will be under. I think this is his 2nd or 3rd day of doing this. And he's learning pretty quickly what it is that he's supposed to do.
Okay.
We think he likes doing it too. Oh, got that one wrong.
There.
He's getting tamarin right now.
So, some elephants can master simple discrimination tasks, but they do so gradually, not in an all or none manner, suggesting again lack of understanding of the task they eventually come to perform so well. Do elephants understand what they are doing, or do they learn to choose one kind of object over another mechanically, as behaviorists like Watson and Skinner believe? As we have seen, elephants take a long time learning to remove a lid from a bucket. This is more consistent with the behavioristic model, as are the following clips of 9 different elephants.
To put it on the ground. Okay, again, and put the foot at the same time. Put the foot in while you're putting it in the ground. Okay, of course, yeah. No lid, just put it in a bucket, the same way. Just 1 second, wait. One more time. Now just the lid. We're just doing the lid. It's December 5th. It's Momiachi. We're trying to show whether... One more time. Okay, now the lid on top. Okay, one more time, lid on top. Okay, and one more time. Okay, now the lid on the side. Lid on the side again. And one more time.
Okay, we finished chewing. And to put the lid on the ground, and she's contemplating this. She's not sure why she should do that, but I think she's going to do that a couple of times. It's about 10 after 8 in the morning. So those of us that can are warming our hides right now. Good, Momole. Don't you pay any attention to him.
Ah, you wait, you little bugger. That's a good girl, yeah.
Understand the idea of an obstruction. That she understands. She just took. Okay, one more time and we're done. She is confused, touching the bucket, touching the lid. Okay, there's nothing there for you, baby. And now she is going to the bucket again. Okay, January 27th, we are doing the temporal sequence. Punchy in, and we did 5 on top, now we're doing 1 more on top. Okay, 1 on top, not on the side, on top.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Over.
Over.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to do on the side, on the ground.
Outside.
Okay, keep going, 1 more. That's what, number 2. Okay. Okay. Same time. Okay, let her do it. Let her do it. Okay, that's it. 2, we'll do a few more, but that's the point. That's it. Okay, it's the same setup. She's been doing it now for 16 trials. Now it's number 19. She's still doing it exactly the same way. Okay. It's number 19 and number 20. Okay. Okay. That was number 20, and it's the same thing exactly. We'll do 1 more.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did 3 cover, now on the side. You remove the lid and then she goes 1 more time. Do it again. The same thing, the same thing. She removed the lid and then she goes for it. She does not understand the concept. 1 more time. And 1 more time. Keep doing it. Okay, 1 more time. Okay, we did 2 and both of them he went to the box. Now we're doing number 3. Okay. Okay, do it again. Again.
He's got this scheme called temporal sequence, where he puts the box either in the middle or on either side of the hole, puts food in the hole, and see if she has to or he has to pick up the food first or not.
Chimpanzees, orangutans, and bottlenose dolphins act as if they recognize their own image in the mirror. With elephants, one study suggests that they do, while another suggests they don't. We introduced a slightly different design in an effort to resolve this controversy. Wanda and Winky, the Detroit Zoo elephants, were habituated to mirror and feathers. At first they reacted with interest to both, a reaction which subsided with time. We then stuck a feather on their head, to which they seemed oblivious. Once they got used to wearing feathers over a period of several days, we reintroduced the mirror, trying to see whether they would detect the change in their own appearance and try to remove the feather from their forehead. They did not. The clips you'll see next suggest that elephants can remove a feather from their head if they happen to touch it. They can also remove it from the head of another elephant.
Marshmallow to Winky's forehead.
There you go. Good girl.
To answer the question, do elephants think, we had to know just how well do elephants see. We began by presenting them with small objects, 1 centimeter or 0.4 inches in diameter, and found that they could detect objects when they were in motion, but not when they were stationary. Likewise, this young elephant could not distinguish a piece of sugar cane from the rope that surrounded it.
It's not easy for them to see. To see this, how long it takes it?
Oh, she's still trying to find the cane. It's down there, but she can't see it. Hey, they're getting it for they're showing her where it is.
We trained a young elephant to come to Moti for treats. Next, Moti stood perfectly still in an open field in full daylight, and Toon Thin Thin, the 5-year-old sweetie, stood at varying distances upwind from him. That is, the wind blew from her direction to his, and we knew already from our earlier work with a blind elephant that an elephant cannot possibly smell a downwind human being from that distance. Here is how she was pre-trained to come to Moti.
February 25th, and we're doing some vision training here with Toon Thin Thin and her little neurotic self. And the system is Moti goes to a certain part of the compound here with food, and she's being held by her Uzi, and then when he signals, the Uzi tells her to go, and that's exactly what she does, and she comes a-running. She enjoys this. Okay, he just signaled for her to go, and here she comes at a brisk pace. Thin Thin, it's February 27th. This is the vision training. And this is how fast the little sweetheart runs to get to Moti to get her treat.
Camera, we're doing another one.
Well, here she goes again. Okay, here she goes again. She comes a running.
Next, here is one actual trial. She could only see Moti standing at a distance of up to 30 meters or 98 feet, suggesting again that elephants do not see well. We also conducted a series of quantitative visual tests, relying on skills acquired in the earlier discrimination tasks. First, elephants were presented with progressively smaller disc pairs. In some sessions, 4 of 6 elephants could reliably distinguish between white and black discs with an 8 centimeter or 3.2 inch diameter, but none of the 6 could distinguish discs with a diameter of 6 centimeters or 2.4 inches or less. In other words, they can still distinguish objects of roughly this size, but not of this.
She's doing the visual
33 centimeters.
the visual examination here, and she's on step A, 33 centimeters. And we're just going to do a few of each one to give you an idea of what's going on. She got 5 out of 5. And this is step C, and it's how many centimeters?
17 centimeters.
17 centimeters. And we're just showing you a few. She's not having any trouble with it. Our Momoe. And it's gotten partially sunny. We had horrible rain showers last night. It's a hot, humid, partially sunny day. Remember,
White is good, yeah.
okay, the Tinsy is here. She's in the middle of her visual acuity examination, and she's on step E as in excellent, and white is positive, and step E is 10 centimeters across on a background of brown cardboard, tan cardboard.
4 is left. 5 left. 1, 2, 3. Right. 1, 2, 3.
At the next step, when the diameter is lower, 8 centimeters, she can no longer choose the correct lid. Elephants can also distinguish a big box from a small one only when the difference exceeds 250 to 400 square centimeters, or 39 to 62 square inches.
Saying discrimination between what, Donna? Which boxes?
C and F.
C and F, which is just a little bit above is visual capacity. Okay, go.
Okay. Yeah?
It's tile number
12.
12. And we can see after a break, he's not doing all that well.
Okay.
But he met Katrina already. That's a bigger box. The difference 500.
Yeah?
centimeters.
Yeah?
And usually you can get it. You can get down to 400 difference.
Babe?
with both discs and boxes to make sure that the elephants failed this task because they could not see and not because of fatigue or insufficient interest. A failure was followed by a discrimination task with a larger pair of boxes or discs.
Okay, that's a continuation of the same experiment, February 27th with An Chang Tao. And now we are the difference, which replace one of the boxes, and we want to see if he's still with it and can see it or not. So here's one that he just before, at the beginning, scored 10 out of 10. Yeah, this time he chose the bigger box. Okay, he chose the small box. So it's a matter of concentration loss.
Yeah?
He's an adolescent and does not like it when he doesn't do well. He certainly has the best short-term memory in this group of animals. Okay, we're getting back into the swing of things. Okay, here's another view of the situation here. What's a number trial is it, Dan?
This is 10.
10, and we have a... Okay, you can see that it's improving. Keep going, keep going.
Okay.
What do we have now?
9 out of 10.
Okay, okay, he's back to his form. So the earlier failure can be probably safely attributed to just the difficulty of seeing it. He's looking like a charm. He's always choosing the big box.
Yeah?
Here there was an example of hesitation. He looked at it, but showed the right box.
Is big.
And the voice in the background is Donna's.
Big.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah? Big.
So, compared to people, elephants are visually impaired. However, that should not be taken to mean that sight does not play an important role in their lives. A zoo elephant, for instance, sees well enough to follow visual commands. A blind elephant can function, but she compensates for her lack of vision by touching the ground repeatedly with her trunk, just like a blind person walking with a white cane. In contrast, a seeing elephant seems capable of moving faster and of keeping her trunk farther from the ground. Likewise, compare the performance of a blind elephant in the first clip and a seeing one, the second clip, in a similar task.
This is the fourth day, and she's not as sure trunked as B, as a seeing elephant, or at least that's what I think. Although now it's difficult to say. B. She's actually much better now. Yeah. B. Here's an example where she just seemed not hard for her to find a place. Okay. Do one more. Again, Shrimya, February 24th. Yeah.
It's hard to tell which
Yeah. Yeah. Be? Here was an example. She was trying to get it, but not very well. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, February 25th, Yang Hei Wang. We are doing short-term memory, pre-training 2 with Tun Thin Thin, and we've shown it on camera before, but here the point is to compare her to Sri Mia, who is blind, and how she, with lightning speed, can find the correct hole, which means that it's the difference between them can only be ascribed to the fact that Tun Thin Thin is seeing and the other one is blind.
Yeah. Wait.
Okay, well, it's still pre-training too.
The strongest evidence we have that elephants understand anything at all comes from a series of experiments at the Detroit Zoo. First, elephants were presented singly with a tube in which a morsel of food was inserted. Both elephants retrieved the food immediately by either sucking or blowing. They showed no preference for either sucking or blowing. When immediately after they could only obtain a treat from a tube by suction, they almost immediately switched to suction, suggesting that they understood the nature of the situation without resorting to trial and error, or that they, unknown to us, played such games before. We then created a situation where only blowing yielded a delectable morsel, immediately followed by a situation where only suction would yield that morsel. Again, the switch from one to the other was instant.
It's a game. They like to play.
Like, could you get it so that I can blow it and aim right in my mouth? No, wouldn't that be a
Good girl. Only blowing.
Performance as evidence of thinking, of working out things in their minds without the benefit of trial and error. But subsequent experiments in the jungle placed this interpretation in doubt. 2 Burmese elephants were unable to retrieve food from a tube by either sucking or blowing, raising the possibility that Wanda and Winky had been trained to suck and blow before we had set eyes on them. This negative conclusion is supported by the following competitive situation, where the 2 elephants do not seem to grasp what's going on.
Oh, that's your trunk. He touched trunk. No, they didn't. You know it, baby.
Okay, Wanda is giving it to Winky.
Ow! That out of my trunk.
will learn, but right now it seems they don't get it. Here, we followed the ingenious experimental protocol of Daniel Pavanelli and his colleagues. We conducted our experiments with some 16 elephants and introduced a few modifications to the original design. To begin with, and following numerous trials of begging from a person holding a bucket, when given a choice between a large object and a human being, elephants always beg from the human being. Likewise, after lifting a lid off a bucket to get food hundreds of times, if given a choice between a lid and a person, the elephant always begs from the person. Elephants almost always prefer a man to a scarecrow. They prefer a man who is covered from the waist down to a man who is covered from the waist up. They prefer a man facing them to a man who has his back turned to them. In other instances, where the differences between the two men is not as sharp, the performance of 16 elephants in 3 different locations averaged 69%, 19% higher than controls, and 18% higher than chance. These results are not as clearly behavioristic as Pavanelli's and, depending perhaps on one's ideology, can be interpreted as either supporting or refuting Pavanelli's pessimistic view of animal mentality. For our part, we tentatively accept Pavanelli's conclusion, even though our elephants and our chimpanzees performed much better than his chimpanzees, 54%. Our rationale for this is simple. One can easily ascribe 70% correct choices to trial and error learning, but one is hard put explaining why an elephant who understands that people see fails to act on that knowledge in 30% of the cases. Anyway, here are a few fragments of the actual experiments. First, we had to teach them how to beg, which in most cases involves a simple reinforcement of an already existing habit.
A1, it's February 12th, and he's just in the last portion of his pre-training, he's learning how to beg. He had a hard time. You can still see him swing his trunk first before he does it, but now we are waiting, and it's at least 1 second before we let him go. That's the usual setup, and the pre-training is usually done with either Donna or myself. Again, he's swinging it. That's the way he always did it, but at least now he's able to settle.
Next, an example of our session number 9.
This is session 9. This is A Dui Mung. It's February 21st, and we're ready to go. This is Scarecrow Person.
Okay.
Alrighty. Okay, now we have fans. They're black fans. They're not the old-fashioned ones that we had before. And he is going to the one that can't see him. Okay, 3rd round here.
Okay.
We're ready to go.
Okay.
Much better this time. Okay, now here we go with the bamboo wall. And they're ready to go. Go!
Okay.
And that was an easy one to choose from. Okay, here we go. We're going to do black fans again. And the wrong one again.
But you want to be next time here.
Ready? Here we go. Go!
Okay. Last one. Go. Okay.
Oh, that was much better. Ah, that was much better. Okay, now this one is, the guys each have on one of my two rings. One is an elephant ring. It's got the elephant hair from Momoe, from Cheshire. The other one is my amethyst ring. And they've just switched rings. And whoever has on the elephant Momoe ring, the elephant tail ring, is the one that is the correct one.
Okay.
And we're doing this as a way to tell that everything is kosher.
Back.
Because there's no way,
Next one.
no matter how smart the elephant is going to figure this out. Okay, here's the rings, just so we can have an idea of what we're talking about. The elephant ring obviously is the one on the top. Okay? Okay, here comes the old scarecrow again. Not looking his best. He got attacked the other night brutally by one of the elephants trying to get the food out of his pocket. This one is, depending on which hand, or which ear your hand is covering, is the one that the elephant is supposed to choose. Now we're going to do another one of the ear ones. These are controls to make sure that we're not giving any unconscious signals to the elephants to help them decide which one to choose from. That's not the end of session 9. There's still some more to go, but they're all repeats of what I've already shown, so we're going to conclude the tape. Alrighty?
We may note in passing that the performance of our elephants in this task, 69% correct, was roughly equal to that of our chimpanzees, 67%. This means that both species, in about 30% of the trials, begged from a person who could not see them. Here is just one brief example from Beauty, our star performer at the Detroit Zoo. Note that she is facing a person who can see her begging gesture and goes out of her way to beg from a person who can't see her at all.
This is Beauty again. This is the last one, and it's buckets, and we're ready to go whenever you are.
Go.
Okay. Oh.
We went to the Detroit Zoo and the jungles of Burma because we love elephants and we're curious about them. We were fortunate enough to gather some new information about their vision, olfaction, short-term memory, learning abilities, and behavior. But we failed to come up with an unequivocal answer to the question which was uppermost in our minds, and which constitutes, in our view, the fundamental question of both animal behavior and comparative psychology. That is, are animals conscious? Is our Leela conscious? Are elephants, for instance, to paraphrase Colin Allen, big zombies walking about without any awareness? Or are they, as Joyce Poole believes, after decades of closely observing them in the wild, nearly as aware as human beings are? Can they think or solve problems in their head? Do they understand anything? Are they aware of their own selves and of the selves of others? Are they capable of empathy, compassion, or deliberate cruelty? Once resolved, the answer to these questions will forever alter our view of elephants and perhaps also our conception of all other animals, ourselves included. When Moti and I started our adventures with elephants, we took their consciousness for granted and hoped to come up with an unequivocal experimental evidence in its favor. Instead, Although the meager evidence we have gathered so far is only suggestive and circumstantial, and although it does not rule out consciousness, to Moti this evidence appears more consistent with the odd view that elephants do not think. I, on the other hand, feel that there is enough of an anecdotal and field evidence to support the view that elephants are conscious. In a few years, we hope we shall have a more definite answer. For now, we just want to end this film by saying that we are profoundly touched by our brief sojourn with elephants, and that we shall be forever grateful to the people and the institutions who made this sojourn possible. Thank you too for joining us.